The call to the Pentagon was never meant to draw attention. It was routine. But by the end of that day, 2 careers were over. A town's name was trending for all the wrong reasons, and a lesson about assumptions was seared into the national memory. General Ayanna Brooks had made the drive 100 times before southbound along the sleepy stretches of Louisiana backroads, where gas stations were few and phone reception was thinner than morning fog. There were no black SUVs, no Secret Service convoys, no armored personnel trailing her. Just a standard rental car, a duffel bag in the back seat, and a direct line to the Department of Defense. She wore jeans, beat-up sneakers, and an army ball cap pulled low. Her dark skin caught the dappled sunlight filtering through pine trees as she passed Lake Charles, closing in on her destination Barksdale Air Force Base. The meeting she was due for was classified. Nothing she could be late for. Nothing she could reschedule. Outside a weather-worn gas station with a flickering sign that read Dale's Fuel and Feed, Ayanna's secure satellite phone lost its signal. She needed to re-establish it. No time to wait. She pulled off the road, choosing a spot near the side of the building away from the main doors, where a couple of locals in oil-stained hats leaned against dusty trucks, sipping sodas and chatting in the sticky heat. Ayanna stepped out and lifted the device to catch a clearer signal. General Ayanna Brooks, verifying identity. Begin priority-level briefing, she said in her crisp, composed voice. Inside the station, behind a yellowed window and racks of beef jerky, stood Nancy Lorman. Late 50s, rigid smile, and a lifetime of suspicion narrowed into judgmental eyes. Nancy didn't see a senior military leader safeguarding national security. She saw a black woman in plain clothes talking into a device she didn't recognize. Trouble, her instincts told her. She picked up the landline and called the Mosswood Police Department. "Yeah," she whispered, "we've got someone suspicious out by the pumps. Looks like she might be casing the place, acting nervous. Might be high. Better come check it out." 2 officers heard the call, Deputy Brad Kessler and Officer Clint Monroe. Boredom had been their partner all week. A slow day in Mosswood could be livened up with a little prevention, as they called it. They didn't ask questions. They grabbed their sunglasses, gunned the cruiser, and sped toward Dale's. Unaware, Ayanna remained laser-focused on her call. Sensitive operations were being relayed through the line. Her eyes scanned the area methodically, as trained, but her posture remained relaxed. That changed when flashing lights bounced off the window glass. Gravel flew as the cruiser screeched to a halt. She lowered her phone, eyebrows tightening. 2 officers approached, one broad and red-faced, the other lanky with twitching fingers near his holster. "License and registration." "Now," Kessler barked. Ayanna took a shallow breath. "Absolutely. I'm General Ayanna Brooks, U.S. Army. I'm on active duty. My credentials are in my wallet." Monroe scoffed. "General, huh? In this getup?" She retrieved her wallet slowly, handed them her military ID and federal travel orders. Kessler didn't even glance at them before sneering. "This is fake. Try harder." "I assure you, sir." "Shut it," Monroe snapped. People had begun to gather. Passers-by slowed. Some filmed on their phones. Ayanna remained composed. "Contact your supervisor," she said calmly. "This is a serious mistake." Instead, the cuffs came out. "Turn around," Kessler said. "No," she replied firmly. "I am a general in the United States Army. You are unlawfully detaining me." Monroe laughed. "Sure you are. And I'm his Secretary of Defense." He grabbed her arm. The other officer yanked her wrist backward. The cuffs bit deep into her skin. Her secure phone hit the pavement with a crack, still connected. Inside the Pentagon, Lieutenant Commander Stephen Hale blinked at the erratic audio feed. "General Brooks, do you copy?" Static. Then scuffling. A muffled voice. Then silence. Colonel Marcia Devlin was across the operations floor in seconds. "Trace her," she ordered. They pinpointed her location, Mosswood. Not the base. A red flag. "Get Barksdale security online," Devlin snapped. "Tell them it's a priority extraction." Back in Mosswood, Ayanna sat cuffed beside the gas station wall, sweat trickling down her spine. "What's your real name?" Monroe sneered. "Who are you working for?" You have my ID. My orders. All the information you need, she answered. You're seconds away from obstruction, Kessler said. Then their radio crackled. Unit 6, be advised. Subject is flagged federal. Pentagon escalation confirmed. Release immediately. Do not engage further. The color drained from Kessler's face. Ayanna said nothing. Kessler fumbled the key, muttering something unintelligible as he unlocked the cuffs. Ayanna stood, flexing her wrists. The phone at her feet was shattered. You're going to regret this, she said quietly. A new convoy arrived. Black SUVs. Military. Serious. Barksdale's top security detail exited, weapons holstered but eyes sharp. Leading them was LT. Colonel Darren Shaw. General Brooks, are you injured? Only insulted, she replied. He turned to the Mosswood officers. You are ordered to stand down. This incident is now under federal investigation. Kessler sputtered. We didn't know who she was. You had her credentials. You chose not to see them, Shaw replied, voice clipped. Monroe muttered. She was acting suspicious. You saw a black woman making a call and decided that was criminal. That's what will follow you. Inside the SUV, Ayanna didn't speak for miles. Shaw finally said, DOJ and Civil Rights Division are involved. It's going public. Entire country's watching. They should have been watching long ago, Ayanna murmured. By the time she returned to Barksdale, footage had gone viral. The cell phone videos captured her calm, the officer's aggression, and a sharp contrast in dignity. Commentators debated it, but millions of viewers already knew what they'd seen. Chief Ronald Webb of Mosswood PD was in full panic mode. It was a misunderstanding, he told the press, sweat pouring under a too-tight collar. A misunderstanding with handcuffs? One reporter challenged. You couldn't verify an Army general's credentials? The officers were suspended. Investigations launched. Complaints once buried resurfaced. Stories of excessive force, profiling now under a national microscope. Ayanna gave briefings, sat for interviews, but saved her real statement for the public. On Saturday, she stepped up to a podium outside Barksdale's gates. Her uniform gleamed. Her eyes were steel. I am General Ayanna Brooks. I have served this country for nearly 3 decades. Yesterday, none of that mattered. She paused. I was not treated with respect. I was not seen as a citizen. I was seen as a threat because of my appearance, not my actions. Reporters scribbled. But Ayanna wasn't speaking to them. She spoke to those who knew that kind of hurt. I'm not here for an apology. I'm here because silence is not acceptable. Dignity is not negotiable. Prejudice must be confronted, not excused. Behind the cameras, veterans, mothers, students gathered, some holding signs, others holding hope. Injustice is not new, she said. But change begins when people stop looking away. She didn't wait for applause. She left the podium the same way she had arrived, unbowed, unwavering. The country didn't transform overnight, but the ripples began. In courtrooms, in precincts, in classrooms where people studied the video and asked hard questions. And in Mosswood, a sign quietly went up on the door of Dale's Fuel and Feed. We serve all with respect. No exceptions. Because Ayanna Brooks did not allow herself to be defined by anyone else's ignorance. And because she reminded the world some truths demand to be spoken aloud.